Hi, ladies and gentlemen, it's Herb Charlick here. You know me from Pensado's Place and the Parlor and stuff we do with NAM, and we're really excited about this NAM. As we've been telling you for a minute, we are following an artist development story. You rarely get to see it behind the scenes. You're going to get to see it for 3 straight months and then meet the beautiful lady that you see on the screen, who is the artist, and love to welcome her to the parlor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Crystal Tamar. Hey,
Hey, Herb, how are you? Thank you for having me.
I am more than pleased that you're here. And what I'll share with the audience is I've had the chance. I first met Crystal actually in the studio while she was doing her artist development thing with a brilliant producer named Cosign. Cosign is a technologist, a producer, a musician. He gives TED Talks. He's hosted Apple Radio. He is a really brilliant. And what you'll see in the process that we're going to show you is not only Crystal's artistry, but her artistry in mixing with cosigns, sometimes writing, sometimes listening. It is really fascinating for somebody who's done it for a long time. I'm actually enjoying watching it because I've never seen it presented online in the same way. So, Crystal, where did the artistry let me ask this question. I think that in order to be an independent artist today, it's equal amounts of wanting to make sure that you can do your artistry your way. I think it's also about the you learn something from getting your own project going. There's a different kind of strength you evolve as an artist, correct?
Isn't that the truth? Yes, you learn so much about yourself, and it's important to tune into that too as you go along. Like, oh, I realized I reacted this way today. I realized I had ideas about this today, and how to hone that and keep that, bottle it up, and take it with you as you go. It's very important.
Does it influence your writing of the songs?
Absolutely. I've always said that writing isn't my strong suit. That's something actually that Cosign has been fantastic on, but it absolutely does. At this point of time where I am not doing a whole lot of writing, it's important for me to share concepts that I have. So as I go on about my day-to-day life, if I think of song concepts, it's important for me to write that down so that I can use it when I'm in the studio because I want those songs to feel like me.
I saw a bit of that in the maybe 90 minutes we shared the very first time I met you. There were times where you were listening and talking to Cosign while he was creating. There was times he was listening and sort of getting your vibe. When I interviewed him, he said that he connects to you in such a way that it doesn't even necessarily have to be spoken. It's
Yes,
it's just being in the same environment. There's some messaging that goes back and forth. Fair?
absolutely. And it's important to me to have someone who's willing to listen in that way, because a lot of people are just about their own agenda. And so I'm super grateful to have someone who's actually paying attention to me that much and even asking me questions so that he can get more of a feel of who I am.
And,
Make,
and, and
makes a big difference.
and for the audience sake, if you find yourself in the same position as an independent artist or as a producer, and I ask Cosign this, those are part of the messages that you need to do when you decide to work on somebody. Sometimes people work on people just because it's a check. That happens. But that's not oftentimes where special and magic happen.
Exactly.
And when you connect with somebody, so I asked Cosign what made him say yes to this project, and he said her. It was her. It was her story. It was her beyond her talent. There's talent. You got if somebody can't sing, then we may need to start at a different place. but but he was as informed as a producer, I think, as you are fulfilled as an artist,
Mm,
and that's kind of the magic that I watched in the honeycomb. Just I was like, ooh, something special's happening here,
yeah.
and it's when it's special, it shows. You can feel it.
You can feel it. I know we felt it immediately. And I say we as in me and my manager husband. When we came into the room, he has a not only a hilarious energy, he keeps
Yes,
laughing all day long.
yes, yes,
But he has this duality that I always think that I have myself, which is when it comes to music and melodies, he likes 808s and he likes melodies. And
yes.
so I'm a little bit of singy, and I'm a little bit of I like the hard tracks, something that you can ride to, something that you can bob your head to. So we connected in that way, musically as well as personality wise.
Now that is a really good example for all of you watching this as to how you let your instinct guide you. It doesn't mean that you remove your intellect, but you got to listen to your instinct. Now, you would never look at Crystal and go, "Oh no, she likes to bang her head to 808s." You
Oh,
you you just would never know until you get in and you let that vibe thing happen. And now that you say that, because I didn't know that till now, but I noticed in the studio that when Cosign was kind of going hard or coming up with something, I was like, everybody's grooving in here, and now I realize that's what you like.
yeah.
So, um, uh,
Herb, I
it
swore that this project, I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus. I'm just gonna sing and just do a lot of ballads. And then the lady, my friend, who's also in the industry, who connected Cosign and us both,
okay,
he played some of his tracks that had heavy 808s, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, some way.
yeah, yeah. Well, part of what I like about Cosign, and it's very similar with both of you. Cosign, if you watch Cosign giving a TED talk, you would never think you're going to get in the studio and hear him doing Nicki Minaj. Like
So,
you just would not. And then you go, oh, wait a minute. And it's funny, he's got a descriptive phrase for it. He calls it ghetto ratchet.
yes,
And,
gourmet.
and he says, but I'm ghetto ratchet. And when you go, wait, you did TED Talks and then you ghetto ratchet and then so
Oh, gumbo,
it,
mix it up.
yeah, exactly. And it is the beauty of art.
Yeah,
And because the end game of the art, you never would know what the process is to get to that. You can't tell who somebody is necessarily. You can't tell their process by what the end result is. You just
absolutely.
never know.
You
You
never
just
know.
you never know. I just got off the phone today with one of my clients, and his mom passed in the last 2 weeks, and he was talking to me about artistically how it's hitting him.
Mm,
Obviously there's the emotional pain of losing your mother, but he's saying it's having a process on him in terms of his art, how he wants to speak about it, how he wants to approach it. And it's not in a more gentle, mournful way. It's actually a more aggressive, time is important. This is what my mom would want me to do
yeah.
kind of way. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And
Yeah.
it was fascinating to just listen to him. Um, the the freedom to be creative is also something as an artist you have to make sure you're in touch with. You can't like to be with the hottest producer in the world and you know you're going to have hits, but you feel trapped. That's not freeing, is it?
Free at all. Nope. Nope. Not free at all. As a matter of fact, there's a certain amount of freedom that I have now that I'm a solo artist because I did used to be in a group, a really great group called Sophia Fresh, signed under Atlantic Records and
Oh
executive
yeah.
T-Pain. And
Hmm.
we had a blast together. But when you are in a group, it is a collective artistry. So you're taking everyone's ideas, and so your ideas may not be highlighted today, or this particular song, or this particular performance. And
Yep.
so, being in this environment now as a solo artist, I'm learning that I'm not only developing, I'm evolving as an artist because I'm finding new freedoms in myself. I'm like, wait, I can't do that. I can't speak
Hmm.
about that because this is my song, you know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is just everything. Even being able to pick your own team, being able to
Hmm.
seek out a cosign and say, yeah, that's what I want. You know what's so funny, Herb, is when I decided to do this new album project that I'm working on, I made a list of the ideal producers that I wanted. I started thinking of songs that I play every day when I get in the car. And at the top of my list was The Interns, which is cosign and his partner.
That's crazy.
I actually forgot about that until I opened up that document,
That's crazy.
and I said, everybody stop
Whoa.
this. What
Whoa.
God did. So
Whoa.
yeah, I feel free and
Yeah.
excited to just be me. And like you said, you don't know what someone's process is when you see the end result. I had no idea that it would be this wonderful working with him, you know,
Hmm.
that he
Hmm.
would actually respect my process as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I just feel free all the way around to be me, to speak up, to be creative, to sing the type of lyrics that I want to sing for once. It's
Hmm.
just it's great.
You know, and people who have followed me over time have heard me say this again, so I'll do the short version, not bore anybody. But I had the pleasure of working with Maurice White from Earth, Wind, and Fire. And if people who watching this don't know Earth, Wind, and Fire, you should research it, but most of you do. And Maurice told me at one point in time, and Maurice had a groundbreaking group in the 70s, actually, that brought black and white folks together and used Egyptian music and funk. And he had a gumbo that's never been duplicated. And I had a chance to work with him. And oddly enough, from a racial standpoint, I was the first black representative he had ever worked with. He had never, when he came up, he said, "Look, I was taught that I shouldn't have black representatives." So one, I was honored for that. But then let's go to the learning part. One day we were sitting in his office, and Maurice had Parkinson's, and he had Parkinson's. He got it the same year as Muhammad Ali. They had it the same amount of time, and they passed in the same year. Crazy, really crazy. But he trusted me with it, and he was starting to lose his voice. And he said, "Man, you know," he was watching me listening to music. And he said to me, "You listen to music like a musician." And so that I need no other pats on the back. But the other lesson that was major. But the other thing he said to me, which speaks to what you just said, he said, "Man, sometimes you have to open up your hand and let the universe in."
Mm.
And I did exactly that face. I was like, wait, 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 let me just process that. This isn't one I need to come back and be Mr. Intellectual Manager, smart guy. Let me listen to what Maurice White is saying to me. And I listened, and then I accepted that. And literally from that point on, a whole bunch of things started happening in my career because I wasn't getting in the way of my blessings.
Yes.
I was opening up to letting it happen to you. And for those of you who are on a journey as an artist, independent or not, as a creator, let me put it that way, you have to get to that point, that even point where you let the universe in. You can't control, if you control it too much, you're not going to get to your great spot. Is that fair?
That is spot on. Yeah, because control is something I had to let go of pretty early on, but that is spot on. Let it happen. It's
Yeah.
here for you. If,
Yeah.
it's meant to be, it will happen. And I've been I've been doing this a long time. Started singing when I was 9 years old. And is the timing what I thought it would be? No, but the developing and the evolution of me, you just cannot beat God's timing with that.
You
That
cannot. You cannot. I will not embarrass anybody. They can look it up. When I think about my personal career, at the age that I am now, I got more going on that is relevant and I've had a very blessed career. But I think I'm young in my head
yeah.
and wanting to get to that Zen point that Maurice was talking about and being inspired by people like Cosign and yourself and letting the art continue to happen. It's really timeless once you
It's
get to that point. Yeah, it's just timeless. I'm constantly surprised at those who figure it out, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for having mentors like Maurice White, and those who didn't figure it out because
Yeah.
they're lost and they just never opened up to do it. But before we go too long, this is what we call artist development. The discussion that you saw Crystal and I just had, that you're going to hear monthly from her. We're going to feature her music every month, and then you're going to get to meet her at NAM. We'll give you those dates. You'll meet her in cosign. And the reason, and we're going to get you some incentives where you can come to NAM for half off, thanks to Tamar, thanks to Crystal Tamar and Gerard, her husband, and cosign, and the Parlor. Um, you can come find out what it's like and actually ask her questions. We don't believe in that you just come watch somebody and you don't get a chance to interact with them. It's important that you interact with them, and as well as cosign, myself, and whoever else you need. Artist development is a real process. It doesn't, it happens over time. That's why we're going to follow this story for 3 or 4 months. You'll see the writing, you'll hear the conversations we'll have, we'll show you the music that's developed. We'll get Crystal's perspective as an artist. Um, this is why you come to the Parlor, because we show you stuff. We don't just talk about it, we show it. Crystal, we're going to do this again very shortly.
I'm looking forward to it, Herb. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom as well. I
Oh
appreciate it.
no, I am inspired by you. Love you to death. Hug Gerard for me and be in touch shortly.
Will
You
do.
guys, you've been watching the parlors. Her name's Crystal Tamar. The project is coming. You'll see it from cosign's perspective, my perspective, her perspective. It's gonna be a gas. Talk to you guys later. Deuces.